how can you create a relationship? Whether you're working with an influencer or with a customer, you want to make sure that that relationship comes first and that you're not only talking transactional, because that can really limit your growth potential, but it can also turn people away.
Welcome to the Marketing Boost Solutions Podcast. Join host Marco Torres, co-founder of MarketingBoost.com, along with expert guests as they deliver incredible, proven solutions to your marketing challenges in each power-packed episode. Captain Marco has guided thousands of entrepreneurs, growing their sales and marketing through the use of value-add incentives. His Facebook groups are home to more than 84,000 entrepreneurs who are raking in sales with his advice. Get ready to be blown away with game-changing lessons for your business.
Welcome to another episode of the Marketing Boost Solutions Podcast. My guest today transforms her insatiable curiosity into conversion spiking copy. Through her thoughtful approach, proven copywriting tactics, and winning strategies, she has led her team to help over 2,000 businesses from around the world boost their sales and build their brands online. She's a thoughtful leader, trusted consultant, and an e-commerce expert, especially in the Amazon space. She demystifies what some of the complex topics of in the world of marketing, e-commerce, and branding to make them accessible to the average person like me to get a grip of it. She helps audiences think deeper, get curious, and find unique solutions to complex problems. Whether she's speaking on stages across the globe, leading her team, or guiding clients, her goal is to empower everyone to tap into their curiosity to create stronger conversions, loyal fans, and killer brands. Folks, help me welcome Emma Schermer Tamir to the stage and her company, the marketingbyemma.com. Say hello, Emma, and thank you for being on the show.
Hello, thank you. It's always a little strange hearing somebody read your bio, but I have to say your delivery and presentation was the best I've heard. So
Well, thank you. You've got a nice background there and you've been in business with Emma, marketingbyemma.com since, I believe you said 2016. So quite an accomplishment. Most businesses don't get past 1 year, and then you've already gone on, what is it? Do the math for me. How many years you've been in business
we're
now?
getting ready to celebrate 8 years. So yeah, we've been in this space for a while, and e-commerce definitely looks very different than it did when we started our business. But that's one of the things that's exciting, is things are always changing. So, it gives us something to ponder over and strategize how we can continue to help clients stay ahead.
Great segue, actually. Tell us about where, let's talk about that just a little bit. Where was it when you started, and how much more difficult or complex is it today?
So in general, as I think we're probably all familiar with, one of the most significant shifts was the pandemic, which led to a swift increase of adoption of e-commerce by a lot of businesses that were either putting it off or lagging behind. But of course, there are also many other things that are at play. The marketing tools that are available have become more sophisticated. Competition is harder. The cost per click for advertising has increased. So margins are slimming down. Competition is fiercer. Then we also have, a little over a year ago, the bursting into the scene of more accessible AI, and that's a recipe for stress, possibility, and needing to put our thinking hats on to figure out how
to leverage it, right? How to
that.
leverage
Yes.
AI and use it and make it available to your clients and so on and so forth. And although it's pretty complex on how to use AI properly. So tell me, before we get into some of your expertise here, I mean, before you even decided to get into running an agency as specializing in copywriting and branding for clients, You traveled around the world. I understand you grew or lived in 4 different continents around the globe. How many? Tell us a little bit about that. Where did you meet your husband, and how did the two of you decide to open up this business of yours?
Yeah, so in some ways, I guess maybe I entered an early retirement, which was after I graduated college. I really prioritized experiences in life. And so I was always working, but I also really wanted to see the world and see what it had to offer. And so I leveraged that to be able to, I lived and taught English in Spain. I then moved to the Midwest, to central Illinois to work with a fine dining farm to table business where they had a number of different restaurants. I then moved to Israel, where I lived for almost 3 years and where I met my husband. And along the way, I always kind of felt myself being pulled into marketing, either because that's where my interests were, or that was just where my natural skills were sending me. So it was a little bit of both, I think. And as I started to then seek out marketing roles and opportunities, I realized that, okay, it's not just about creating ads on social media or writing blog posts. There's so much more to this if you're really wanting to do it effectively. And I think what interests me most about marketing is the psychology behind everything and that human piece of figuring out how do we establish connection? How do we cut through the noise? How do we compel people not to manipulate them to do things against their best interest, but help them see and understand why the solution that we're providing them is the best choice for their needs? And so the deeper that I got in with that, then the more interested I became in learning, okay, these are the different techniques that you can use to be able to strengthen that ad copy or make that blog post something that people want to click into. And that's kind of what sent me down this path.
Awesome. Awesome. And you've obviously done well, helping over 2,000 clients. Tell me about in today's world. I mean, we fast forwarded from where you started to where it is with AI coming into the mix today. And obviously everything we read about and see and hear is, AI this, AI that. And you're in the copywriting business, which was one of the things that, I mean, that's not the only thing you do, but a lot of what you do is about helping the strategy with the right copy, for helping convert traffic, as you say, on your LinkedIn page. By the way, I love your LinkedIn page. I think you do a really good job of branding and selling what you do very quickly and easily on your page there. So congrats. Something most of us don't figure out, we don't use LinkedIn properly to, properly sell what it is we do. You do that very well. Congrats.
Thank
So,
you.
so building on the age of AI, or branding rather, how do you go about and how did you manage to, stay competitive in the world of branding and AI when people think, oh, now that I've got Chat GPT, I can, I have my copywriter built in, click, 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 put a few prompts in and, use that versus an expertise like yours. Um, so
Absolutely. Yeah. So of course, AI can do a lot of things very quickly and efficiently. And so it can be a great support, but it should not be the sole creator of your brand for a number of reasons. I think perhaps the most significant of all is we're seeing actually something really interesting happening in society right now, which is that people are looking for human connection even more than they were in the past. So I've seen some articles recently talking about how founder pages on social media are gaining more traction and interest than business pages on social media. And I believe a big reason for that is the fact that people don't just want to be sold to. They want to connect with the brands that they're buying from. They want to feel like they're aligned around a set of values, but they're also looking for the ability to connect human to human, which AI is obviously not capable of. So AI can spit out a lot of options very quickly, but then it's actually your ability to leverage what AI gives you and then build upon that and infuse what makes you uniquely human. So AI is not going to know what personal experiences you've had in the past that you can draw from to communicate this message in a way that's going to really resonate with your target customers. It's not going to know how to pull from this other disparate piece of information or article or knowledge base that you have, because that's not what it's capable of, at least not yet. It can't read our minds and know all of our past histories in that kind of way. And so that actually gives you even more time as a business to really think strategically about how you're going to position yourself and how you're going to communicate with your customers in a way that's also going to be able to cut through the increasingly loud noise, because AI is allowing all businesses to create so much content so quickly and so easily. And so there's a lot more of it, but most of it is stuff that we're just learning to tune out. And so it's not ultimately helping your cause if you're pumping out massive amounts of mediocre content that is failing to create connection with your customers. And so by being able to be more intentional, be more creative, be more strategic, you actually have a very significant ability to stand out in comparison to your competitors and to build long-term relationships. And so often we're focused on, with marketing, how can we attract new customers? And of course, that's important to being able to grow. But just as important is making sure that we are deepening our relationships with our existing customers, because there is so much value there as well. And so that's another element there that you want to be sure to tap into as you're thinking about all of this on kind of a bigger picture level.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds, when you think about it, you're so right. With ChatGPT, we can spit out a lot of content and everything else, and everybody's doing it. And so, or lots of people are doing it. So it ends up, as you say, a lot of noise. All the more reason you need to make your copy somehow not sound like ChatGPT. It's almost like you can recognize it now.
Oh, you absolutely can. Even
Yeah.
you were talking about LinkedIn, and I can easily spot the people that are just dropping comments with AI. And it's like, what is the point of this? You're not contributing to the conversation. You're essentially just summarizing what I've said in a very robotic sounding way. So
In order to hopefully be, maybe be spotted by you, so you follow them, or I don't know what the goal is, right? But
yeah, yeah. But that's all short-term thinking, because, okay, maybe you get on my radar, but then if you're not contributing value, I'm not going to pay attention to you. Whereas if you take a little bit of time to contribute a meaningful idea, then that's how we can perhaps strike up a conversation and start to develop a relationship. And then you pop into my mind when I am asked a question that I don't know the answer to, or somebody's looking for the skills or the services that you provide. And so I think that's one of the main things that's always important to be considering is, am I doing something for a long-term or short-term gain? And what are the ramifications of that either way? So you can do some pretty aggressive things that could give you a short-term bump, but if they go against your ability to grow a long-term sustainable business, then that may be worth reconsidering whether that strategy is going to be helpful for you and your goals and objectives.
on the other side of the break, we're going to take a break right now, folks. On the other side, we're going to come back and talk to Emma about Amazon marketing and the Amazon brand story, something that's relatively new on Amazon. We'll be right back. Hang on, don't go away.
It's time to wow, surprise, and impress your clients with the most powerful customer draw card available anywhere. The Marketing Boost Solutions Show is brought to you by Marketing Boost, where you can get valuable travel and restaurant incentives to drive your leads from prospects to paying customers. Now you can offer complimentary hotel stays in over 130 destinations worldwide. Go to marketingboostsolutions.com and try it for free right now.
You just heard from marketingboost.com, the sponsor of our show. Folks, if you're not using the incentives provided by Marketing Boost, if you haven't looked into that, the ability to give away complimentary hotel stays from 3 to 7 nights in over 130 destinations around the globe, complimentary restaurant incentives you can give to your clients, hotel savings cards, all of these, we teach you how to use these incentives to enhance whatever your call to action is, to help you generate more leads, help you convert those leads to paying clients, and a whole lot more. Go to marketingboost.com and check that out. We're back with Emma from marketingbyemma.com. Did I say that correctly?
You did.
All right, let me bounce over to your website, but tell us about some of your services on the site real quick. And then I want to get into the conversation about the new Amazon brand story and how you help clients with that.
Absolutely. So we do e-commerce copywriting. We have a specialty in helping businesses navigate Amazon more specifically, but we can also help with your Shopify store, your website, or your Walmart listings, anywhere that you're needing to show up online. We do also offer consulting, workshops, and speaking as well if you're looking to educate a team about our processes and how to implement those on a larger scale. So that's what we do. That's what we've been doing for a number of years now. We've spent a lot of time in the e-commerce and Amazon world, and we've learned a thing or two along the way.
Cool. Yeah, by the way, if you're happy to be seeing us on YouTube, it's marketingbyemma.com. And I want to show off your LinkedIn page real quick here. As if you're watching on YouTube, you can see how she quickly sells her brand right here. We turn browsers into buyers. Marketing by Emma. And then right away, her about section, covers all, quickly and easily with good, amazing copy on what her company does, then moves into her podcast interviews or her YouTube channel. So if you're looking for ideas on how to make your LinkedIn page more impactful, go look her up, Marketing by Emma, and check out this page. I think it's quite well done. Simple, easy, and sells your message. Let's take a glance at your YouTube channel, which is also done quite well.
Thank you.
So
Yeah, this
now
is my newest project.
Is it really? It looks
Yes.
good. I like
Thank
it.
you.
I might have to
Thank
copy
you.
some ideas from here.
Happy to provide some inspiration.
There you go. One of the things I like about business is I've, jokingly wanted to write a book called Copy and Paste Your Way to Success. When you see things that are when you see things you like, don't reinvent the wheel, emulate them and find what others are doing successfully and copy a little bit. Tell us about I'm looking at your YouTube channel here, and you've got the Amazon brand story. And that really got my attention as I was going through there. And how recently did that open up on Amazon, where your products now, they allow you to have a whole branding carousel that helps sell what you're all about?
So that is actually not that new, but I think it started to gain in popularity because it's now a gateway to accessing another really valuable tool, and you have to have a brand story in order to do that. So your brand story is pretty awesome for a few reasons. One is it's going back to what we were talking about previously. It's that opportunity to really be able to start to build that relationship with your customers and tell them a little bit about what makes you special. Always putting the customer first, even when you're trying to communicate. That is a very important thing to be keeping in mind. It also allows you to link to other products in your catalog. And so it's a great way to cross-sell and upsell your whatever else you might be selling that you think would be relevant and interesting to your customers. So it's great for both of those reasons. But the reason that it's also become so much more popular is because you need it in order to gain access to something called premium A+ content. So for those that may not be familiar, when you scroll down on an Amazon page, you see something that looks like a mini landing page. So it has images and text, and it gives you a more in-depth information about the product. Premium A+ content used to be something that was only available to companies that it was invitation only, and it was very expensive, and you had to be doing pretty big numbers to even be considered for it. But about a year and a half ago, Amazon made that accessible to anybody that has a registered brand on Amazon, as long as they meet a few basic criteria. And one of those criteria is having a brand story. So we've seen a lot more people hop on that train, but it's also just another way of being able to build out your Amazon real estate. So you only have so much space to communicate about your product and your brand. And there's also a lot of other space that is ad space, and sometimes it's your competitors who are advertising there. So the more of your page that you can fill up and have an opportunity to catch your customers' attention, to pull them in, to make them interested, to build trust, to make them want to buy your product, the more effective that you're going to be at converting those clicks into conversions.
Yeah, and you don't have much time to do it, do you? When they come into your page or find you on Amazon, you've got a few seconds to have some powerful impact before they're, off to another product possibly.
Yep.
So you've got to win them over quickly.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
to me, that's one of the exciting things about Amazon is it's so highly competitive that it really requires you to be thinking in a very strategic way about how to make sure that you are maintaining that attention, that you are thinking about how to stand out, that you are positioning your product so that customers understand why you're the best fit for them in a way that, not to say that it's not important in other places, but it's not quite as easy for customers to then just click over to another option. If they're on your website already, of course they can still abandon and go elsewhere. But on Amazon, people are, they might be looking at
there's
5 different products at any given time, and they don't want to waste their whole day trying to figure out which mouse pad to buy. But it's easy to get sucked in and feel confused. And so if you can do an effective job at cutting through the noise and saying, hey, this is the mouse pad that you've been looking for, then suddenly you're not feeling confused or conflicted, and you're going to be like, yes, problem solved, add to cart or buy now, and I can get on with my day.
Well, one of your YouTube videos, you comment about the halo effect, and that got my attention. So expand on that, and how do you relate that to an e-commerce site or your website or your brand in general? How do you make that halo effect effective quickly?
So the halo effect, and I mentioned earlier that I love psychology. And so I think it's so fascinating, just as a preface to this part of the conversation. We like to think that we are in control of our minds and that we are deliberately deciding on and the things that we want to. However, our brains, in order to not be totally overloaded and overwhelmed by the amount of information that they are constantly having to process, they have all these essentially shortcuts that are in place. And so without our awareness, those shortcuts might be influencing our perceptions and our thoughts towards things or people. And so it's important to be aware of those, whether you're in marketing or whether you're a customer, because there are also things that can be encouraged or even manipulated if they're being used by people with malintent. But the halo effect is really interesting. It essentially is the idea that if we have a positive feeling about something or someone that is associated with something else, we are going to be feeling more positively towards that in the future. Also, if somebody makes us feel positive about something. So let's say that you meet somebody new and you really like the outfit that they're wearing, or they give you a great smile. You don't know anything about them, but because you have a positive first impression, you're now going to assume better things about them. So it's really, in a lot of ways, it is bringing some truth to that adage of judging a book by its cover, and it is how our brains work. So when it comes to marketing, there are a couple of levels of that. If we're talking about the first impression, that's really thinking about, okay, how can I make sure that my imagery and my design is all looking crisp and clean and impressive. If it's maybe looking like something from the early 2000s, then that could suggest that you're not as up to date as you should be. It's also making sure that you're communicating in proper English if you're selling to the English speaking market, or the proper language, that whatever language you're selling to. All of those little things are going to subconsciously be influencing how people perceive you to be. The other side of that, sort of the borrowed halo, if you will, is that's one reason why influencer marketing is so effective. Because if I see somebody that I like and respect, and they are talking about a product or a brand, I'm going to be more likely to feel positively towards that product or brand, even if I have no direct experience of it. So in some ways, their halo is extending over to this other thing. And so that's where you can also be thinking about strategic partnerships, both within your industry or influencer relationships or other places that you can show up where you know your customers already have a positive impression of that thing or person, and then you can borrow their halo, if you will.
Cool. When we come back, we're going to hear from our sponsor now. When we come back, we're going to be talking to Emma about some of her favorite tools to use online for your e-commerce business. We'll be right back.
Is your business on autopilot yet? Do you have automation in place to capture, nurture, and convert prospects into clients via email, SMS, ringless voicemails, appointment setting? Get all the inbound and outbound marketing tools in one place. Go to marketingboostsolutions.com for more on automating your business so you can make money while you sleep.
Well, you just heard from automationbooster.com. And again, if you're in business and you don't have a proper CRM system, if you don't have the ability to acquire your leads and nurture them with email and text messaging and ringless voicemail broadcasting, if you don't have an easy way to build your sales funnels and communicate with your clients and your staff and your VAs, if they can log into one place and see all the communications in one generalized communication platform, if you don't have that, go to automationbooster.com and check it out. We make it easy and affordable. I've been in internet marketing since 1996, even before Facebook, before Google, and I've never seen a tool that encompasses all of your inbound and outbound marketing tools in one place so affordably. So check it out, automationbooster.com. And here we are back with Emma now, talking about marketing and being an e-commerce expert. Since 2016 that she launched this business, 8 years in business, servicing thousands of clients. And so one of the things that you also want to make sure you share with us, Emma, I understand you have a free bonus for our listeners on something they can go and tell us about that real quick.
Yes, I do. So we are happy to offer either a free Amazon listing analysis or a free landing page analysis. So if you would like someone else to take a look at a page that you have that is either not converting as well as you would like it to, or you feel like, I think I did a pretty good job, but I would like someone else to give me a gold star and a pat on the back, then if you just fill out that form, we will take a look at it and follow up with you about some feedback that we have about how you can strengthen and improve that page. Or if you have truly done a fantastic job, then will give you a virtual high five.
Super. And so you go to marketingbyemma.com, click over here on the, let's see, where is it on
It's right
here?
up at the top, and there's also a banner, or you can go to
There it is. Free
marketingbyemma.com.
Amazon, free
Yep.
Amazon listing analysis right underneath the homepage. And bam, you can come in here and quickly fill this out and get some free support or free analysis on what your landing page or Amazon page looks like. Great. Thank you. So let's get back to talking about what would be some of your favorite tools for e-commerce in today's world that you recommend to your clients these days.
So we were talking about AI. AI is a fantastic tool for doing competitor research and customer research. It can really help speed things up, but also synthesize a lot of information and spot patterns that you may not be able to easily identify yourself. So, for example, if you're wanting to be able to look at all of your competitors' reviews, which can be a gold mine for being able to get insights in what customers care about and also where your competitors' strengths and weaknesses are. You could go one by one and read all of those yourself, or you could actually feed those to AI and ask it to give you its top positive and negative sentiments, and then any other common notes that it's identifying, and then you have a really fast and easy summary to be able to work off of, and it's probably going to find patterns and commonalities that you wouldn't have been able to identify yourself. So that's a really great application of AI with all of
Now,
this.
now that real quick, that was interesting. I hadn't heard of that idea before. So you just prompt it with you list the competitor URL and ask it to
If you're using an
summarize.
AI, if you're using an AI that reads the internet, then you can. Otherwise, you're going to need to download those reviews and then either put them in a spreadsheet or just copy all of them and upload them to the AI in chat form,
And then
depending
ask it to
upon.
summarize the best or the overall reviews of it.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. So that's a great tip and tool. I also, are you familiar with PickFu?
I have heard of PickFu, and I interviewed the owner and founder of that on our show once. So yeah, tell us how you use PickFu or recommend it for your clients, please.
So PickFu is pretty cool. It's a way to be able to, in some ways, almost create a focus group without having to spend massive amounts of money like you would if you were doing a more traditional focus group in a corporate setting. And so you can use that to ask all sorts of different questions. So whether you're trying to figure out a logo and you have a few options, then you can create a pool of people that match who your customers would be and ask them to choose which one they like best. You can use it to test copy. You can use it to test product ideas. You can use it to even get feedback about what features they find most important and to rank those features, or what concerns are most significant for them. So you can really use it to source feedback from a customer lookalike audience that you can then translate into meaningful decision making, so that you're not just guessing what you're
Yeah,
wanting to.
you're not gambling as much on just trial and error with paid
Yes,
traffic
yes,
versus, yeah, spend a little bit of
exactly.
money, and it's very affordable. I think you can do tests for 15, 20, $30 or what have you.
Yeah,
You can spend more obviously, but you can do small tests and get some quick feedback. So
absolutely.
that was
Yeah.
pickfood.com. Did you have any
Hmm.
other suggestions on tools out there?
I love ClickUp is my project management tool of choice. We've been using them for a few years, and what I really like about ClickUp, I I researched extensively and tried a number of different project management tools before I ended up on this one. And what I like about it is that it's incredibly customizable. So most project management tools, they sort of have one format that they want you to work with. So whether it's more of a spreadsheet style or a Kanban board, and ClickUp allows you to use whatever style you want, and any section of the space that you're creating, if one person on your team prefers Kanban and another person prefers a spreadsheet style and somebody else prefers another style, everybody can look at it in the way that's most suitable for them. It's also, you can get really granular with assigning things. So for example, in our business, every project, there's a lot of different people involved in it, and there's a lot of different stages and steps. It's almost in some ways like an assembly line where we have the keyword research that's being conducted and the competitor research that's being done, and then the writing, and then the editing, and then another round of it. So there's so many different steps. And so really being able to break that down, assign specific people and dates to each piece of that, but then still have an overarching person that's owning that project and has an overall due date is really helpful for us and what we need in a project management tool.
Cool. And, you know, one thought, I kind of reverting back to what we were talking about a moment ago with influencers. Do you recommend, or you bring on some of the influencer platforms for clients to, is that something you practice, to try to hook them up with smaller or larger, you know, influencers to promote certain products and what have you?
That's not something that we're involved with directly, but there are a lot of people that are experts in that I've spent time around. And I know there are a number of different strategies, but you mentioned something really important, which was smaller influencers. And I do think that that's something that a lot of times brands, they get googly eyed over these influencers with millions and millions of followers. And of course, that can be very attractive, but they're very expensive. And also oftentimes they may not have the same depth of relationship that they do with their customers as some of these more micro influencers. And so there's all sorts of different ways that you can connect with those. Of course, TikTok makes it very easy to be able to do that. But even just searching for influencers in the particular niche or category that you are selling in, and sending them a message and figuring out ways that you can work together can oftentimes be really positive. And also, don't undervalue the ability to use your customers in some ways as evangelists. And you know, if there are people that are excitedly posting about your product or service online, how can you use that to deepen a relationship and maybe figure out other ways to collaborate with them, whether it's inviting them to be part of a group of your most loyal customers that you can use to bounce ideas off of, almost as sort of something similar to what we were talking about with PickFu, or whether it's just having, you know, rewarding them for continuing to post content, be that through little freebies or discounts or other things that you can do to help them feel special and appreciated. But it really does all go back to, how can you create a relationship, whether you're working with an influencer or with a customer. You want to make sure that that relationship comes first, and that you're not only talking transactional, because that can really limit your growth potential, but it can also turn people away. Most people are looking for being able to develop a long and ongoing partnership. And so if you're just too business, you know, sending a message like, how much do you charge for what, blah, 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 you might not have as much success as finding ways of being able to develop a more personal touch to things.
Emma, who is your avatar? What kind of client do you typically serve of the 2,000 clients you've had so far? Who is your client typically? If I'm out here struggling in my business, um, and I'm needing support, you know, helping me improve my conversion, my landing pages, my Amazon e-commerce pages, what would I need to be able to, you know, what are you looking for to be
So,
able to help?
yeah, fantastic question. So we really are able to do what we do best with businesses that are really committed to being clear about who they are and who they serve. And so that typically falls into businesses that have some experience, they've been selling online already, they've probably had some success, but they're finding that either their position is starting to be overtaken by new competitors that are entering the scene, or in order for them to get to that next level, they need to figure out a way to really take things up a notch. And that's where they see a clear brand voice and positioning, and how to be able to communicate all of that is one of those tools that they can use to take their business to the next level. So those are the partnerships that we're able to bring the most value with. Because we have such a specialty in Amazon, we do work with a variety of other types of businesses, but the ones that are going to get the best results are the ones that are also committed to going deep and really partnering together to be able to communicate a message to a specific group of people.
Wonderful, Emma. Thank you. Before we wrap up our call today, do you have any last words of wisdom to our community of entrepreneurs? What would you tell them to continue down that sometimes lonely journey as an entrepreneur, and to continue to be having steps of success along the way?
Wow, that's a great question. I definitely feel that when you say that. I think obviously if you've been in the online world since the 90s, you are very familiar with that. And so many different ideas pop into my mind. But I think what I'm going to say today is in some ways summarizing what we've been talking about a lot, which is that it can feel scary and intimidating to commit to who you are and who you serve, because in some ways that can feel like it's closing doors and limiting your growth potential. But in fact, by doing that, by being very deliberate and bold in those choices, you're actually creating an opportunity to find your people and connect with the people that are going to be really excited about working with you, buying from you, doing business with you. So whether that's recruiting, whether that's attracting new customers, it makes all of that more effective. But it feels scary to do that, and especially if you're feeling a little bit alone and isolated, especially when you start, it might feel like you're talking into a vacuum. And so recognize that if you keep doing, if you're getting curious, if you're getting better, that eventually things will click.
Cool. And if you're on that lonely path, folks, go join the Marketing Boost Facebook group. Uh, you'll find it there. Go search in Facebook, search for Marketing Boost, the travel incentive guys, and we're here to help you with our community of entrepreneurs that help each other and guide each other along the road with incentives and without. So we give you some ideas there. If you like the content we brought you today, folks, we really want to first thank you and appreciate your time listening to us. If you like the content, please give us a like and subscribe below. And we'd really appreciate some comments. Tell us what you thought. Ask any questions. We'll certainly reply to you in the comments below. And all of the links to get a hold of Emma, one more time, where do folks find you?
You can find us at marketingbyemma.com. If you wanted to claim that free analysis, you can go to marketingbyemma.com/free analysis. Our website also has all of the other contact details. So whether you prefer WhatsApp or the phone or email, you'll be able to find it all there. And then if you liked this content and wanted to just learn more about some of these different things, you can also find us on YouTube at Marketing by Emma.
Cool. So again, folks, thank you for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Thank you very much. Thanks for listening to another episode of Marketing Boost Solutions Podcast with your hosts, Captain Marco Torres. Now it's on you. Take the next step now. Go to marketingboostsolutions.com for more on how you can wow, delight, and surprise your clients with the most amazing draw card on the planet. So stay thirsty, my friends. Stay thirsty for knowledge. See you next time.